go. Here we go. Here we go. Hey guys. Hello. Sorry. That would be me this time. I was late this time. My apologies. And it's not any of the dogs' fault. Sorry about that. How
Hey
you
guys,
doing, Jamie?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm good, thanks. So this is Jamie from Milk Honey and Mayhem, and she's got her own channel, and I was catching up on it this week. I was catching up on it last night, to be honest with you.
Right on.
And I love it. I love your channel.
Thank you.
And like I've said before, you are, and I've seen in the comments, people are saying, and I agree 1,000,000%, you are a natural at it.
Thank you. I
So
appreciate that. I enjoy it. So,
can you bring up, let me see if I got you as loud as I can get you. Yeah, come a little closer, I guess. Come a little bit closer.
see what I can do.
So,
All right. Is that any better there?
yeah,
Okay.
just because of I wanted to hear you better. That was the
Okay.
issue. That was the
Yeah.
issue. Yeah. Melconi Mayhem. Did you ever get a chance to read the Moscow analysis?
Um, from which one are you talking? The one that was sent. Yes, I did read those.
Okay.
I
That's
did.
from Fits and Giggles.
Yes, Fits and Giggles. I read those. Those amazing work there. Amazing work.
Cool. So we have some cases that we do want to talk about. Patchouli Julie, how you doing? Somebody was a new member. Thank you for that. Alice down the rabbit hole. How you doing? It's been a minute since I've seen you. I hope you're well. Edie Cook left the building. Edie Cook has left the building.
She'll be back.
Edie Fits an ally. Okay.
Right on.
All right. I don't know what that is, but okay. Guys, so so we want to talk about some other cases besides the Gyps Ahoy case, though I will be putting out a video tonight for tomorrow morning, I believe, about Gypsy and her craziness. And the fact that I hope that show's over and now they make a show about Nick's side. That wouldn't that be great?
That would be wonderful. I would love to hear just an honest interview from Nick.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah. But I don't know if he's ever going to trust anybody enough to do that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So which case do you want to start talking about? Because we've had some interesting phone calls behind the scenes, and I'm always like, no, we ought to be doing this live. And
right.
So
well, I tell you, I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on Brian Kohberger just because we've already been there and I want to discuss these other cases. But one interesting interaction we had today was I mentioned how my motorcycle gloves were padded. And even when I dropped my bike, everything else was bruised. And you're like, he's going to have bruises on his hands. So I just want to get this out of the way and show you guys what I'm talking about. Let me take my ring off here.
I don't think that he would have bruises on his hand if he had the gloves, but I don't think he would be able to wield a knife as easily as he did. And
you would, though. You would. Here's the thing. Let me do this one. See how it's got these hard ridges through here? And then again on here?
Yep.
Now, these are motorcycle gloves. They make them in mechanic gloves. You can buy them at Walmart. These are just mine.
Right.
So when I dropped my bike before, I went out and my hands went into a brick wall. And they were fine. So I'm just going to show y'all right quick.
You're not going to punch a brick wall, are you?
No. I'm going to hit my table, though. Ready? I don't advocate violence. Don't punch anyone.
Right.
All right. So, see, punch that. Now, y'all look at my hand.
Yeah, there's nothing there. Right.
Not even red. But there is a little seam right here on the inside of your thumb. And when I've worn my gloves for a long time, or I've been hot, or I work in them, like I'll work on my bike in my gloves.
Right.
And I have a really good range of motion. I could do just about anything and grip tight. But right there where that seam is, it will rub a raw spot. Now, make what you want of that, but that could explain why he doesn't have any bruises on his hands with the information that came out about poor Kaylee from her dad, which is
right. So, but there's also been more, like now, even some of the family of the victims are saying that they believe that there might be, hi Denise, that they believe that there might be two people, more than one person. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and that's see, there's things that come out that make you question. As much as I say, oh, Steve Gonzalez, if you go back and listen to that interview, he said they, not he, they. And I believe he has information. I think they tell the
Oh, of
families
course. I think they
information.
have. Yes, I know for a fact that they do. Oh, yes.
And when he said they, that is that a Freudian slip of the tongue there?
I don't know, but that's probably why they shouldn't be talking. Here's the thing,
Probably.
though. Um, like they said that Brian was supposed to be. Brian was supposed to be.
Right on, Patchouli Julie.
Definitely. Oh, that he had texted, or that he had. I'm sorry, that he had looked up the murders before.
Uh-huh.
Okay, but there's a lot of people that did, because they would, for 8 hours they were texting people and such. And I can understand how somebody in that community, and I
Uh-huh.
can understand how he would be in that community, true crime,
Mm-hmm.
you know, when there's something that goes off
Mm-hmm.
in a neighborhood,
And
especially if that's your passion,
I believe,
especially if
Toddy,
that's
that they were on Snapchat. I think they told other people through Snapchat in the sorority and fraternities what had happened. He might have even heard about it through that and went to Google it. I'm not 100% that Ryan Kohberger did this, but I can't shake why him. If they're going to frame somebody, why not pick a criminal, somebody who's already in the system? Boom, easy.
because I do think that circumstantially there are things. I do think so. I do think that the DNA um is touch DNA,
Right.
but I think they kind of just stopped there. Just like the
Mm,
Gypsy Rose case, just like the Idaho 4 case as it appears.
right.
It
Like
just,
we've
as
just
soon
got
as
enough to do it, so we'll
as well,
stop.
it's just like why they haven't arrested Jen Soto. It
Oh,
just seems like, just if they get enough, like they appear to have done their
mm-hmm.
job. Now,
Yeah,
that's speculation, and that's a harsh thing to say, but I'm saying it because it's all possible, because
right.
that's happened before.
Yeah,
And so, I just feel like, and there's a lot of things. Thank you, Joshua. And there's a lot of things. Um, there's nothing showing that right, but within the area. Button's nice to see
mm-hmm.
you, but within the area, not necessarily at his house. So it could be that he was at a store. It could be that he honestly is a stargazer. We
Right.
don't know. And there's also things that aren't really fair that the judge is doing. You have to admit that are
100%. He is
questionable, that go
prosecution
to the
based,
other
Judge Hitler.
side,
Mm-hmm.
and that's not cool. So
Yeah.
uh,
Unless there's information that we still don't know, paperwork and documents that's yet to come out. And that could be a reason why the judge is, well, either way, the judge shouldn't be biased towards one direction or the other, even if there is information that shows it. He's still presumed innocent.
well, here somebody's asking, I don't know. Here's what I know. Here's what I know. And absolutely, Ivana, here's what I know. I think people say things that aren't necessarily, listen, people are going to give the victims,
Mm-hmm.
an 8 hour grace period of why they didn't call 911.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't give somebody who, I don't even want to go with the autistic thing, because
No.
apparently he was diagnosed with autism when he was incarcerated. So
Oh, yeah, that definitely cuts it
I,
out
I,
right
I
there.
got to throw that away for me. And
Yeah,
I
you're born with
believe,
that.
right. So I mean, I don't believe that. I believe that that's trying to be a
Mhm.
defense right now, and I don't think he did it. So there you go. I'm trying very hard to
Right.
be critical,
I
but
I just
I
want to
think
answer
that
Debbie Bunsen here. My opinion. Why do I think Kohberger? What do I think he meant when he asked if they arrested anyone else? I think that was a nod to, like, a fanboy nod to John Wayne Gacy, whose first words when he was arrested was I think he said, "Has there been any other arrests?" And Brian Kohberger said, "Have they arrested anyone else?" But it was very similar. And I think that's why he arrested. That's why
or
he asked that.
or he could
Or
have or he
help.
could have been he could have known about the crime,
Mm-hmm.
just like a lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
that because they were texting people,
Mm-hmm.
and
And there's a
he-
theory going around that he was paid to do this.
who, Brian?
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
anything about that, but all I can say is I think that he it could be something as simple as he was, invested in the crime as soon as he kind of heard about it, and he started going online. Wait a minute,
I'm
let me
guilty of
finish.
that.
Let me finish. And then he starts having like his own theories because he's studies this, and his passion is true crime. And
Mm-hmm.
then when he gets arrested, it just so happens that the first thing out of his mouth what is, well, did you arrest anybody else? Like, you know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? Like, so it could be as simple as that. Like, would you get a bunch of people together?
Yeah.
Am I the only one? We don't know in what context that was said. And
Right.
you know, and yeah, I'd like to see the context that,
Yeah.
because that doesn't mean anything to me, to be honest with you. Here we go. Doesn't anyone else find it weird that BCK like to go to the same park where Ted Bundy disposed of a victim? What's everyone's thoughts on that? Well, other people have to go to that park too, or that park wouldn't be in existence, right? So there's got
Well,
to be a lot of people that probably go to that park and run or whatever.
yeah. Yeah. And I'm gonna play devil's advocate on Brian's side for this one. When I lived in Clarksville, I went to Austin P. There were some unalivings that took place that at a little Dairy Queen up there, and the dude had chased them through Dunbar Cave State Park and got a hold of them. It wasn't pretty. Anyway, I would go running and just walking every day at Dunbar Cave. And I can't help but say, I would imagine when I was going through there on my walks what it must have been like for those girls. And I probably at one point took off running and looked behind me just to see what it felt like. I had nothing to do with it.
Right.
So devil's advocate, he could be doing that. Yep.
Okay. So how could be a coincidence he bought a K-bar knife from Amazon that's missing the sheath? So but
Mhm.
well, we don't know that it's missing the sheath, his knife. He has
Yeah,
like
it's gone. All of it's gone.
what from well, I mean the K-bar knife. What do you mean all of it's gone?
They didn't find the knife or the sheath
Right.
anywhere
So
on him.
right, right. But he had this for 9 months.
Yeah.
So I mean, it could have been. I have a couple knives in my car. That's just the truth.
Right.
Now, one of them, you know, if I look, I could see it. The other
Hmm.
one, I really don't remember where it is, to be honest with you. Like, I really don't remember
Right.
in my car where it is. If somebody, and this is just me thinking now, I get my car serviced like everybody else. If
Hmm.
somebody took my knife because they liked it or they wanted one, I wouldn't even notice that the knife would be missing.
And your
But I
DNA would
think
be
that's
on
a
it.
long time to have a knife. There were also there was a tent. Let's not forget what else was in there. There was a tent. There
Yeah.
was a bear spray.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it was bought 11 months or 9 months before. I don't remember if it was 9
I,
or 11
I,
months before. That's a long time.
yeah. I think it was 8,
It
but
was
still
either
a long
9 or
time.
11, I think so.
Okay. All
I'm,
right.
I'm joking. I mean, I think it was 9 or 11, but I don't know. It was a long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there,
Or he just
Sunshine,
went
there.
there because he heard about something that happened and curiosity. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, that could just be, here's somebody that's a crime student. I mean, that's a
Mm-hmm.
studying criminology.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be interest. It could be
Mm-hmm.
curiosity. I mean, to
Uh,
me, that doesn't make somebody guilty. What
no.
looks more guilty to me is what's going on the other side, to be honest
Yeah,
with you.
there
Not
is some sketchy
Brian's
stuff on
side.
the other side.
There's so much crap that's
Yeah.
going on the other side that doesn't seem correct. First of all,
Yep.
now it's come out that they saw Xana. Is that true? That and
Yeah.
and and for 8 hours, one of them's afraid, and somebody had cleaned up a little bit of the scene now. Like there's that, and it's
Yeah.
speculation that it was one of the roommates that maybe made a mess, but the speculation, all of
Mm-hmm.
this is speculation,
Mm-hmm.
including Brian, to be honest with
Right.
you.
Right.
His DNA was not there. All that was there was on the sheath, but they're
Mm-hmm.
saying he was dressed
Head to
in
toe.
all black. And we're only going by one of the girls. That's all we're going by is
Right.
one of the girls who also didn't call 911 for 8 hours.
There's an
And
explanation for that, Toddy.
okay. Okay.
Okay, listen, when you're in a sorority or a fraternity, you're told don't call the cops if anything happens. You call the head of your house. We'll contact the school. We figure out what we're doing before we call the cops. I think that came into play.
Listen, you can say that all you want. If you're looking at somebody and you're that scared, no, you're calling 911. I just don't
I think she
believe
thought
that.
she was passed out. I think she thought she got so drunk that she was just passed out on the floor.
I
I've
don't
seen my
agree
friends
because
like that.
there was something that she said that's in the records that you can't take out, that she almost started crying because she said something to the effect of she looked like, I don't know, and I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and it wasn't drunk or passed out. That's not what it was. And then she sees somebody leave the house. She's scared to death. And then
Mm-hmm.
she sees her friend laying on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there and there's two people, and then there's more people that are involved because now you've gotten other people involved because you've done
Uh-huh.
Snapchats, you've done this, you've done that,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't. There's something wrong
Mm-hmm.
there. I totally believe that there's something wrong there.
Yeah, but I still can't wrap my head around why Brian Kohberger when it could have been anyone. Even if he was interested in that, even if it was easy, it seems to me it would have been a lot easier to pin that on somebody who had a pretty bad habit to some hard stuff, you know?
Well, I think that originally, I think that they originally thought it was Kohlberg. I believe that his touch DNA is there. I just
Mhm.
don't think that he had possession of that knife or the sheath. And
Mhm.
whether the person left it there to frame him, or the person just took the guy's knife and left it there by accident. you know, I
That
think
seems
that
like a
something made
awful.
him cure. I think something legitimately placed him there. I think something legitimately placed him, not physically in that house. I don't think that. I don't think that. And the only way I would think that if there was a second person involved, because again, this is not how you begin your crime career, by going into a house
Right.
that has so much room for surprise,
Hmm.
that this is where you, with a dog, that this is where,
Yeah, the dog, man, that keeps tripping me up. I just really don't understand that. Because the more I think about it, Murphy would have went nuts on somebody.
when you think so,
I
you
mean,
definitely think so.
I've never met a dog who didn't snap when they even felt a little bit threatened, even if they weren't, even if there was nothing going on.
Well, Buttons, tell us.
So,
Buttons, come on and tell us. Not that we were going to do the whole thing about Brian, because I wanted to talk about Richard Allen,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
wanted to talk about Karen Reed.
Yeah. Karen Reed. Oh, did you get to see any of that trial today?
Are
Oh,
you
that's a
kidding me? No, I was sleeping.
Oh, that's right. You said you were going to be sleeping today. Jennifer McCabe, man, she ain't telling nothing but lies, lies, lies.
So you think, I know you think that Karen Reed is innocent.
I think she's innocent. I don't think it even. I think it was an accidental hit and run. I don't think she hit him. I think it was that dude Ryan,
Mm.
because the cell phone data shows that he pulled up right around the same time she did, because his sister had called and asked for a ride. As soon as he got there, he said, "I'm here." He was texting while he pulled in the middle of the night. I think he didn't see him getting out of Karen's car and walking around behind the car to go up. And I think he hit him. His sister came out. She immediately went back in. He left, and she said, "Well, I'm not going to get a ride." So Jen took her home. Nah, man, something happened out there. I
Well,
think it was
this is
Ryan.
a theory that I don't know about this, so I'm going to have to watch that. So I reserve the right, but I do think, from lovely singing, Jamie, I agree. I
Oh,
caught a little
thank
bit
you.
of tone in that. I caught a little bit of tone in that. That was just Jen.
Thanks.
I'm
Thank you.
agreeing.
Appreciate you.
Nobody, Buttons, you're not being disrespectful. And I'm serious. GPS, Amazon purchase, car license plate readings. Okay.
I mean,
So I
I'm
want to
with
know.
you,
I don't,
Buttons.
this
There's
is
way
what
too many coincidences there. I think it was him.
right. Oh, so
There's a possibility that he could be framed, but I really think it was him.
okay.
Mhm.
Well, I
I'm
think
out there.
I'm not agreeing after that. I'm not agreeing after that. Yeah, so let's talk. And Buttons, you're not being disrespectful. We could agree to disagree. That's what this is about. Please, 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 please.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're all just friends here, chit chatting, talking about stuff and brainstorming it around. So
Yeah, I know there's a lot of people that think she's innocent. I do know that. I do know that.
Mhm.
I don't think it's intentional. I don't think she ran over. I don't think she hit him intentionally. But I do think that, because I didn't know about the other car. I have to be honest with you.
Yeah,
But
that came out. I heard that in the trial today,
okay,
while
so
Jennifer was on the stand. Jennifer
okay,
McCabe today.
how
Mhm.
come that didn't come out before?
I don't know, but she was running around that question and lied to the grand jury. In the part where she said the first time around for the trial, she told the grand jury, wait, I wrote it down exactly so I would remember it. That she said, "Did I hit him? Could
No.
I have hit him?" And now she's doubling down, saying, "I hit him, I hit him, I hit him 3 times, definite." That's a completely different story.
I don't think that she said that she hit him, hit him, hit him. I think she
No.
asked about, did I hit him? I do think she asked,
Yeah.
could I have hit him? Did I hit him?
But what reason does Jennifer now have to change that on the stand today? It just doesn't make sense.
Well, but
She
here's
was
the thing.
rambling like she was nervous too, in my
Well, you got to
opinion.
tell the other side to that, and the other side to that is that Karen said that. Did she even say? Did she hit him? Did she even say that? Karen herself is now saying, "Did I even say that, or did
Right?
I even question that, or did is it that other people told me I questioned that and said
Right.
that?"
Sunshine, the grand jury for the first trial. The first trial is when she said that she asked the question. And on the stand today is when she doubled down and said, "I hit him." Or that Karen Reed said, "I hit him."
Okay, and yeah, so this is something that's questionable
See you, Joshua. Thank you.
about the ring cameras.
Hmm.
That there wasn't like ring cameras involved in that,
Right?
right? Because there was some ring cameras, but that library camera, the one when she's
Hmm.
coming back, to be able
Hmm.
to see the hang on, Milo agrees, being able to see the
The tail light.
light,
Yeah.
yeah, the tail light, yeah.
Yeah. That it didn't look broken to me when she left. So
Yeah, but I don't know that we were looking at that tail light, because remember, in all fairness, she did hit that car coming out.
true, she did hit that car, so she
You know,
was
she at
pretty
least
far
bumped the
gone.
car. She at least bumped the car.
Yeah, and she didn't realize she hit the car, right? As far as I know, she didn't realize she hit the car.
Okay, so yeah, exactly. So let me
Yeah.
ask you guys a question. There's two things going on here. Let me answer this, Jen. So this works in both ways. One of the ways would be, why would he commit a crime? Why in the world would he commit a crime as heinous as this crime in a place where there's a firing squad? And if he had done this in the state in which he lived in, Washington state, there isn't the death penalty. So that's something to think about. I got to give them something so go ahead.
Okay. Go on. I got something for that. Actually, there's a situation going on in Idaho right now. They have paused the death penalty because somebody has questioned about the fact that there's not proper cameras and stuff for the executions. So until they get all that figured out, all that's on pause right now. And I agree, Julie. I think, I think he's testing what he's learned. I think he did this. I think he's just smart enough that he thought he could get away with it. And I don't think he intended to leave that sheath. Exactly. Kung Fu Panda wanted to be the best of his little, crowd, his little fans of the serial unalivers. Yeah. I love Dexter. I miss the original Dexter. Oh, good times. Let's see. Buttonsby, Sean. So you think that Karen hit him? Okay.
How are you gonna be a fan? How's he gonna be a fan if he can't tell anybody he committed that crime? I heard that way over there. This one, where you answered, yeah, but he's got to tell people that. That's the perfect crime, is that you get to boast about it too, right?
But did he? No, I don't think so. I don't think these serial killers are boasting about it. I think he was actually a fan. And again, I'll say I'm a complete nerd. I was into true crime. When I was a teenager, most people collected, baseball cards. I had serial unaliver cards. I had a whole collection of.
Have you seen those little playing cards that they put out about the content creators? Morbid had them on. Mine is terrible. I told them. I said, guys, that doesn't even look like me.
It doesn't.
And I think it was a left-handed compliment there. I said, that's terrible. They're supposed to be my friends.
Right?
Anyway, I can't let things like that bother me, to be honest with you.
Nah.
So anyway, I was going to look up. Somebody asked me about that. So let's look it up. Firing squad.
Yep.
Guys, we're doing something. A few of you have tried to order some hats. And because of I'm sorry to do this, but I'm looking at it. So a few of you have ordered some hats, and I've had you cancel those orders because the embroidery wouldn't have looked good because everything is too small. So what we've done is I had the artist kind of manipulate a little bit, and we weren't able to put everything, but I am going to put them on hats. Somebody asked for like socks and stuff. I'm looking into the socks.
Well, that'd be cool.
And
I love a fun sock.
Yeah, I love. I'm a sock person
Yeah.
too. Firing squad, Idaho. When was it put into play? Put into play.
Yeah, I agree, Janae. I agree.
Okay, so in 2023, the Idaho legislature passed the bill authorizing firing squad execution as an alternative method if lethal injection was unavailable. How is lethal injection unavailable? I'm just asking.
I think that there was some sort of issue where the chemicals weren't working right and people were actually staying alive and they were having to do it again.
Oh, under the new bill, the firing squad is now the primary method of execution, and lethal injection is the alternative. It doesn't mean you get a choice, folks. It doesn't mean you get a choice. Firing squad. So 2023. So yeah,
But
I
I just
don't
heard
know
that
that.
on the news last night, Toddy, about them suspending the firing squad until all this gets figured out.
Well,
Or
and
any
I
any
understand,
death
because if he's
penalty.
fallen under the grandfather clause, like
Yeah.
let's say, then he might not get that. He might, if he's found guilty. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Patchouli Julie. Thank you, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate this. So let's talk a little bit. Now, we were talking a little bit. Idaho crime was Friday the 13th, 11/13. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know that. I didn't even recognize it was Friday the 13th.
Mm-hmm.
So what about, let's talk a little bit about Richard Allen. So
Oh,
how
you
does
are y'all ready to get into this? Because I got some stuff on this. You never even responded to my comment asking you if I was weird, if you thought I was weird. Here we go. I'm weird. All right. Richard
trigger
Allen.
warning?
Yeah, you've looked at the Siri's talking to me. Hang on. There we go. You've
Okay.
seen the crime scene and the way that the bodies were arranged, right?
Yeah.
At this point. All right. Does this look familiar?
Oh yeah. Yep. Yes, it
And how
does.
about this one?
Yeah, that does. It looks like the way the two girls were laid out.
Exactly. So you not only have the tarot, but you have the runes in play as well. Now
Right.
these runes, let me see. And when it comes to the sacrifices, that Richard Allen is not. He didn't do this at all. He's completely innocent of this. It was in this book,
That
right?
whole thing was messed up.
Yeah, yeah. It says this about the rituals involving the runes, and I'm reading this out of this book called Ritual Magic.
Right.
Okay, this came out in 1995, so it's been a minute. Where did it go? It's on this page right here. The traditional manner of using the runes appears to have involved carving or marking them on a surface and then evoking their potentials through chants, ritual gestures, visualization, and the sacrifice of blood, which in ancient times believed to feed the runes. To ask something of the runes, it's necessary to give something in return. So a gift demands a gift. And there were runes involved. Those
Yeah.
six.
And you said nothing with Odinism, but look at the comment.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Yeah. The hangman and the magicians. Absolutely. And they are related to the Odinism. However, the tarot, not so much. Just the hangman. Not as much as the magician. They tied it in together. But the hangman is, and it's
But I
tied into
thought you said the
Odinism.
runes are not Odinism.
The older runes are not Odinism. It's the newer runes they're using that are, and there's some of the older runes that they used in this crime scene. This okay, they
Yeah,
had the
but
rune.
can't that be somebody who maybe thinks they, or maybe set it up to be Odinism, who's just ignorant to that, and they
I
think
think
they
that
know it?
if it is Odinism, it doesn't make any sense to me for it to be Odinism just because of the all the aspects together. It tells a story. So if you look at your runes, the sticks that were placed on them, right? They
And they
weren't. It
were
wasn't just
sticks. Those were branches placed on them. Nothing
okay. Well, we
nothing
call that a
random
stick.
about it. Nothing random about it.
Yeah, nothing random. They were placed in a direction. This is the one that was written on the tree in the blood. I don't know if you guys can see that right there.
No.
Fehu, the little F right there. That's Fehu. And that is for prosperity or gaining things, right? And then you've got, that's the one that was on the tree. But now you move into Abby and Libby. This one right here was on Abby. Hail.
The
That's
N?
Hey, it looks like an N, yes, but it's for the it's for
Can
hail.
you show us the F again, because we couldn't see it?
Yeah. Okay. I'm so sorry.
Don't be sorry. I just didn't know that we were looking at something until I saw clearly that there was an N. Okay. Okay. So move it over. Okay. There we go. Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's the
Okay.
F,
Yep. Yep. Okay.
and
Yep.
that's what was on the tree.
Right.
And then
And
you've
that's the
got
question. So look at sunshine. I agree 1,000,000% with you. And one person did it in 15 minutes. That's ridiculous.
yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, not 15 minutes. This took a lot
And
longer
not
than
during the
15 minutes.
day. I can't believe.
Yes, yes, during the day, because in this one, got 6 books spread out here. This one, The Star Magic Cauldron, it tells the days of the week and the planetary hours. So, what day of the week and what time of the day influences what you're trying to do.
Really?
When, yeah, yeah. So, mm,
One person could not have done this.
no,
I don't
no,
believe
no,
that.
this was not one person. This was a group of people. This was not one
During
person.
the day, in a place where people walked and dogs walked. I
Hmm.
can't believe that. How does I can't that's unbelievable to me. And
Unless they were in a
unbelievable to I
spot
get
that couldn't be seen from unless you were at a certain point. You know, it was mostly hidden from the trail. And there's a thing about the river. They were near the water, right?
I remember hearing that. Yes, I remember that.
When you're doing rituals like this, and this does tie in with the Odinism, that what did it call it? I can't remember the exact word, but it was the mouth of the river. It's the start of your journey. And these runes, when you put the runes together with the meanings of these 2 tarot cards, it's about destroying who you are and building yourself back up better and stronger. That's what they all combine to be.
So
And
what's the type of person? What's the type of person? I'm sorry, I was reading the comments. That would hope to get benefit of this crime, would hope to get benefit of this ritual. Forget that it's a crime.
yeah,
What's the
right.
type of person that would hope to get benefit of the ritual of that?
Hmm. I mean, you've got a
Because then
variety of.
that person, yeah, that person would give us an idea of like, so you're what you're saying to me is somebody who they feel like by this they are going to get nothing but benefit to their life, right? Is that that's what you're telling me? So would this be
Um,
an older person, younger person? And listen, I understand that I'm not talking to somebody who has a degree in this, but
no,
definitely a lot
no.
more than what I know.
Well, I mean, I believe in God, but my version of God is not necessarily the Christian God or the biblical version, I should say. It's more an omnipresent being up there, that kind of guides us. Not so much something to be feared, but that's neither here
Right.
nor there. So this was passed down to me through my mom and through her mom, and my daughter had it, but she's got it too. My mom called it the sight. We just sort of know things, and we have this ability to work with like crystals and candles and tarot cards and just weird things like that. So I've
Hmm.
been interested in this in my whole life.
Right.
I,
Right.
I got most interested in it in my 20s, but I was never doing any rituals or anything. My interest is just reading about, the meanings of things and trying to
Right.
tie them together.
So, what type of person would be a person to actually carry out such a ritual? What are they trying to get with their life? So, would it,
I
what is
think
it?
they hate their life. I think they're miserable. They're probably in a nowhere job. They don't see any hope for their future, and they don't see a way to change it other than the will of their mind. Either they're not willing to go out and work for it, or what kind of power they're wanting isn't something you can gain in society.
Right.
Because that
So,
makes me think about that Kevin Klein dude, or Keegan Klein.
Yeah.
got arrested.
Yeah. So Keegan Klein, for those that don't know, is he's a heavy set, not attractive guy who was catfishing one of the girls by using a very handsome person's photo.
Mhm.
I forget the guy's name that he was using, but do you have it there? Do you remember the name?
No, I don't remember his name that he was
Yeah,
that he was
but he
catfishing
was
with.
basically a model. But you know, so let me ask you this, because now there's this. This is a conspiracy theory, which I find, you know, weirder things I'm sure can happen, but I don't know that I have bought into this. Anthony Schatz, exactly. Thank you so
Okay,
much.
yeah.
That's who it was. It was Anthony Schatz. Um, Keegan Klein, an Odinist, from what I've heard or read.
Yeah,
That's so.
there
That's
is a
what.
lot of Odinism in that town. And here's the thing with Odinism, it's not just an esoteric practice. It's based in white supremacy. So there's a tie in with that. And the thing there is when you're going with Odinism and rituals, sacrifice, they wouldn't have sacrificed girls. It would have been boys because boys had the power. The whole thing about sacrificing virgins, no, they want their females around to populate the next generation of white supremacy. They would have taken out young boys, not Abby
Okay.
and Libby.
So that's still crazy to believe that that shit happened during the day. So
Yeah,
let
here
me.
we go. Here's an aspect of that that'll tell you kind of. I don't know if y'all can see any of that, but it'll tell you what sign is in what hour on what day.
Okay, so just hold that up. Hold that up. Let me try to do something here. Hold that up for 1 second. Let me try to do something here. I'm trying to get Jamie in here. Shit. Hold on. Let me try to remove me.
All right, there you go. Let me try to get it. There we go. Now you guys see that? So it'll tell you like Mercury, that one stands out to me. Is that Tuesday? I can't read it backwards, but what hour is Mercury? Can anybody see that?
Myself up
Thank you,
there.
buttons.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, let me see what we're doing. Let me get us back up here. Wait, I want to get you up here. Wait, there you go. All right.
Okay.
Okay. All
Well, let me
right.
just look. Let me just flip it around and look. You just put me up there. Okay, let's see. Mercury, let's see. If this happened, does anybody know what day of the week this crime occurred in Delphi?
Well, we could look that up. When was the,
Yep.
I'll look it up.
Mm-hmm.
It was February 13th. It was the day before Valentine's Day, 2017. So hang on.
Okay.
It was a weekday.
Mm-hmm. I knew it was a weekday. I'm wondering if it wasn't. Let's see. It took place in the afternoon, so I'm guessing it's going to be on a Wednesday.
It's not.
It's not
It was on a Monday.
on a Monday. Okay, let's see. Monday. Mercury. Did it happen to take place either at 2 o'clock or 9 o'clock?
2 o'clock in the afternoon, I think, right? Something like
Oh,
that.
is that when it took place? Because that's what this
Well, I mean, like,
planetary.
I think around that time,
All right.
because
All right.
if it wasn't at 9 o'clock at night, was it? No, it wasn't
No,
in
so
the
I think it
morning.
was around 2 o'clock. But if you on this book right here, I will take a picture of this and post it on my community page after the stream so everybody can go and look at this.
Okay.
It says here Mercury would be on the second hour on a Monday. So that would be 2 o'clock. Now, when I was going over my stuff with Mercury, something came up with that.
You guys are just trying to get me over to the UK. I'm ready to go.
Well, I do not have that written down. I don't. Yeah. The runes also have associations with planets. The rune that was the F is for Mercury. Right. That F that was on the tree, the association for that is the planet Mercury. Mercury was the planet that was on at 2 o'clock on that day. So they were trying to achieve something with that planet because they all tie together.
Let me ask you this question. There's speculation, like I was saying, and it's really out there, in my opinion. It's like a conspiracist. I don't know. It's almost tin
Oh, wait.
hat.
If we're talking conspiracy, let me get my. Here we go.
So, there are people that have the belief. There are people that have the belief that that's funny. That that the photo, the video, and all that isn't even legitimate. Like that's been put on and done with Photoshop.
The bridge guy.
Not just the bridge guy, but the girls on the bridge. Like, because there's people that are saying where they even dropped off. Is the sister involved?
Oh, because the sister.
I know you've heard of the.
I have.
that.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, I have heard that theory. I don't think that one has to come into play.
That's really that's really out there.
Mm-hmm.
That's really out there.
It is.
But isn't there some truth to you know, and there's theory that there were two lookalikes.
Yeah.
Two lookalike. And when you look at the two lookalikes, they look like the two girls. You can't deny that.
They do.
They look just like them.
Mm-hmm.
But there were also some other things that brought that sister into play a little bit as well. And there was a lot to that trial. First of all, I've never, it is so fucking rare that Richard Allen, he just didn't have a fair trial.
No.
It goes beyond that. And he was found guilty before he ever had the trial. He was put in prison, not in jail. And that never happens. You're put in jail and held until you go if you do not get bond or if you do not have money for bond.
Right.
He was
I thought he was put in prison.
Maximum security prison in 13 months of solitary confinement where he's eating papers. He's eating his own feces.
Anyone.
He's banging his head into the wall. And let me tell you something.
And they were giving him medicine involuntarily. He didn't want it.
Strapped down. Strapped down.
Yeah, that stuff will make you nuts.
Especially if that's your adverse reaction. But let me tell you something. I have to tell you that I reheard, because you sent it to me. I reheard the confession, one of the confessions. And in one of the confessions, this one particular, I thought what he said to his wife was something to the effect of, well, now I have you listening to me. Yeah. And that's not what he said. What he said was, I have somebody here listening to me.
What? I didn't catch that.
Yes. he was saying, and she kept saying, who's in there with you? Who's in there
I
with
remember
you?
hearing that.
Right. And I thought she was referring to somebody who he thought was in his head. There was a doctor that admitted to being in the room with him when and she asked him 15 times. We only heard a sliver of that, where she asked 3 times, who's in there with you? Who's in there with you? And so I'm thinking that he's trying to say no, and he's more put together by saying, no, it's because you're finally listening to me. That's not what he said. What he says is I got to tell you quick because there's somebody in here listening to me.
Shit.
And
I had not. Oh.
So you see how, yeah. And that there was, and somebody, it was one of the psychologists or whatever from the prison. There was a woman that was in there with him. And she said that the reason why she was there was because he wanted she asked him to be there. This is the psychologist saying, she asked him to be there because he asked her to be there because he wanted his wife to understand. Well, if she's asking you several times, who's in there? Why aren't you saying he asked me to be here? This is who I am. And your husband asked me to be here to help you understand.
Why
Richard,
not say that?
would you like to continue on? That's Richard, would you like to continue on? You know what I mean? Or Richard, why won't you tell her, who I am? Why aren't you saying anything if that's the truth about what he said? That makes, but all of his trial, as you know, was never shown.
Right.
That judge should be fucking fried, in my opinion.
Agreed.
That was absolutely, absolutely horrible.
Yep.
Well, he was kept in solitary. I got to tell you, he was kept in solitary, but he was told over and over again that he should unalive himself.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's what happens.
Yeah.
And there was a cop that believed him or something that ended up dead.
Yep.
From my understanding. And this cop had an impeccable record. There was no problem.
Yeah, for over years.
And he ended up dead, and he was on the side of Richard Allen being innocent. And here's another thing. I also think that there's some sort of, it seems like there's some sort of connection between Keegan and the owner of the property, Logan.
Exactly.
Is he still alive?
No,
Logan?
the owner of the property is not.
Right?
Yeah.
He died, right?
Yep.
And
he looks like Bridge Guy to me. The owner of the property.
He looks more like the Bridge Guy, right? And he has the same he has the same outfit, the same
coat. Yep.
Listen, I got a blue coat and blue jeans.
I do too.
Tell me who doesn't. And this is why the Odinism.
Yeah. That just seems odd to me that the cops would be messing around with Odinism. Like, they have enough power on their own that they
like wield. You said, it's a personal thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Ron Logan. Yeah, he's no longer of this earth, but he looks a lot more like, and walked like, it appeared like he walked a little bit more. Richard Allen is 5'4".
Right. Yeah. And it didn't even look like him. Even
it didn't.
Not at all.
It didn't. And people have said something about Richard Allen. I know, baby. I know. We're gonna be away from these people that make noises upstairs. I'm sorry, Danny.
Hey, I don't want to detract your thought, but have you taken the babies to the new place yet?
No, it's not there yet. I have to have it put there. Yeah, okay. It's not on the property yet. It's supposed to be delivered March 22nd. And then I am going to be taking them there before we move there.
Right.
I am going to be taking them there just so that they could get accustomed to it and realize, what's this place? What is this place, Mom?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
all right. Sorry, I didn't mean to distract you.
So, here's people that are saying Odinism runs rampant in the prison system. I don't know anything about that. Hang on a
I
second.
think that probably has to do with the
I
white
left my joint
supremacy.
over here. Hang on.
Yeah, you're good. I think probably the Odinism in the prison might have to do with the white supremacy, because I think there's a lot of that in there. Unfortunately, there's a lot of that in the world everywhere. Y'all know my stance on that.
Yeah. So you don't think it's Odinism simply because you think they would have gotten boys instead of the girls?
Yeah, that's a huge thing in Odinism. They're not going to sacrifice their girls. They need them.
So do you think?
But there's all sorts of different practices out there
Right,
that
right,
it
right,
could be.
right.
But it's definitely involved with the tarot and the runes. And I had found something in one book earlier. I can't even remember where it was, but I went, oh my goodness.
So here's
Because,
a few people that are saying the same thing here, Jamie. I don't know if you know anything about this. I've heard rumor to this. Do you see that?
Yeah.
And Just Jen saying the same thing.
Yeah,
So there's
I'm
some
wondering
sort
if
of
they did that as well. Or if not, to mess with his head, to let him know that if they're the ones doing it with the Odinism, to let him know, hey buddy, we're the ones that did it and we're the ones on the outside. We're in charge. Don't mess with us. That would be what I would think. But if they're doing Odinism, y'all, they're not doing it the right way. I don't know.
That's funny. That's funny. It's not, because it's such a horrible crime. And I do think that Richard Allen, like, so here we go. Here we go, guys. So you guys are saying about Brian Kohberger and why him and why him? Why Richard Allen?
Yeah.
Why Richard Allen?
Because Richard Allen has no behavior that would make any sense with any of this.
The only thing is, he said that he was on the bridge.
Yeah,
I don't
he took a
even.
walk on the bridge.
So did they call him in, or
No, he
did
went
he just went
voluntarily.
in and just said, "Listen, I was there that day."
His wife heard about it on the news and said, "Hey, they're asking for anybody who might have been on the bridge, to come tell them what they know." And he went to the police station and said, "Hey, I was at the bridge. Let me tell you what I know."
Right. So,
Why would he do that?
well, not only why would he do that, but because people could say, "Oh, well, he did it to get himself off," because that's what the cops are saying.
Well, yeah,
Basically, he did.
true.
So, but to me, so this is interesting. You might want to read that. But
Yeah, I see that.
I think that he was able to look like, they think he was able to look like the bridge guy.
Yeah.
But or they knew that it was Logan who might have been involved in Odinism.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, they had to find somebody for these two girls.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. And we talked, this is my huge problem here. And this goes all the way back to Nick Godejohn. It goes back further. But it seems like, and it goes with Jen Soto, we talked about it. It seems like as long as they have somebody to pin the crime on, they don't have to go any further. And that's
Right.
not okay. But that's
No.
the way. And I don't really want to get into a political thing. And I'm talking, first of all, human nature should not be political.
Right.
Human nature should be from us. It should not matter who the fuck is in our White House. Human nature is an instinct that we have, that by our creator, whoever we believe that to be. This is what we have. So, but customer care has gone to shit in this country. The way we interact with each other has gone to shit in this country. So why would the elevation of customer care and doing a good job as a cop be why should it be elevated any more than the rest of what everybody's doing in this country? And it's just mediocrity. It's just fucking mediocrity. And it's sad because Jen Soto, as we talked about, Why is she breathing free oxygen?
Yeah, she should
Why can't
absolutely be
they
locked up.
have a case without her being free? She,
Mhm.
for the very, very least, there's
Putting her baby
child
in that position.
endangerment. What's that?
Yeah, child endangerment, putting
Oh,
that
then
baby in that
you owe me a
position to
root
begin
beer or
with.
beer or something there. You owe me something. I'm not a drinker, but you owe me something. Because we said it at the same time, right? Okay.
Great minds think alike.
There you go. I'll take some more of that water.
Right, got you.
So that's what I'm saying is, and now they've framed this guy, and I totally believe that they framed this man, Richard Allen, and they're getting away with it. And here's the thing, they're going to destroy him.
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure he's ever going to get out. And and if he gets out, I think he's gone.
Yeah, he's mentally broken at this point, even if he's set free.
I mean, that he's gone. I mean, it's going to take so much to.
Yeah.
It is so horrible. It is so horrible. Well, here's the thing. Not only, can I be honest, not only are we taking Patchouli Julie, are we taking cops that might not have college degrees, and that's okay. But now we're taking cops that might even have a bit of a record. That's, you know that, right? And we shouldn't be doing that. First of all, they should be paid more. Then we'd get a higher quality. They might be respected more. We're asking people to put their life on the line, and then we're paying them shit. So, you know, we gotta, you know, do the right thing too. But I can't change the system. I can only, you know, I'm going to speak for me. I can only bring as much awareness as possible. Richard Allen, I don't know what it's going to take. But he's not getting out tomorrow. He's not getting out anytime soon. And he's not a young guy. I mean, there's hopes that maybe the Innocence Project would pick it up, but before they would even pick it up, there would have to be other things in play. And he still has an appeal, so I don't even think they would pick it up before. And I think it would have to be basically exhaustion of everything before they would pick it up. So we're talking about years.
And we see how he is now, how much more time will break him even further.
You know, and I mean, how inhumane. I don't understand, for the love of God. I don't understand how that's not a crime to put somebody who is yet to be found guilty into prison and go one step further and put them in solitaire.
I know.
For 13 months before they're ever before they walk into a courtroom.
Right.
How is that in America? And that we should all be appalled at that alone.
Yep.
Because that is not a fair justice system.
No. I mean, I think I would go crazy in 48 hours in that environment.
He's in prison. You are punishing him before he has
found guilty,
been in a courtroom. That
who knows what they did in the courtroom.
Appalling. That is appalling.
Yeah.
They definitely need to be psychologically screened too.
You're talking about Rachel. Yeah, I've heard the cartel theory in relation to I think it's Bethany's boyfriend, but I don't know. I just can't see her being involved with all that. They were friends. I can't see. I don't know. Oh, I've been hearing about that, Just Jen. Woo-hoo.
Where the hell are you? I'm trying to find these comments. Wait a minute. Okay. So this is where we're at. No? Yes? Is that just
that's what I was referring to. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
She's in jail at the moment, and retrial will be. Oh, that's the nurse. Oh, we have a
Yeah.
baby killing nurse near me in Chester. They say she's
Hmm.
innocent. Is she the? Well, no, I was talking about. I definitely a forced.
Oh.
Definitely, as far as Richard Allen goes, absolutely,
Mm.
absolutely. I want you guys to think of something. Seriously, everybody inside and the replay crew.
Hmm.
I want, honestly, I want you to think of something. I want you to think of how Richard Allen was treated before he set foot into a courtroom. How now, Kohberger, there's supposedly touch DNA, a lot more supposed circumstantial evidence
Oh, he was treated just lovely in there.
about Richard Kohberger. And I still think that if he did it, and I'm not sure I don't think he did it, to be honest, but there'd be more than one person involved in that.
Hmm.
Richard Allen, that I think there's more than one person involved in that as well.
Yeah.
But look at Kohberger is in jail.
Hmm.
And he might be in some sort of alone cell or whatever, but it appears, you look at him, it appears like he's being treated well, he's eating well.
Hmm.
And he's going to go to trial, and we see,
Hmm.
and then you look at Richard Allen, a lot less, so much less
Yeah.
circumstantial evidence.
Hmm.
And I think because they got pressured into, you got to solve this. I think the
Yeah.
politics in that area at the time,
Mhm.
maybe somebody needed a re-election, somebody's
Yep.
job was threatened, maybe even stuff that we don't know. Maybe it was used as a distraction for something that we never found out about.
That's entirely possible too.
Okay. So, but they take an innocent man, because everybody's innocent until proven guilty.
Right.
They take him and they don't put him in a jail.
Mm-mm.
They put him in a maximum security prison before he ever goes to court for this, ever. And then one step further, they put him in solitary confinement for 13 months. They
Right.
just, and I keep saying this, so in New York, a couple months ago at the most, they just settled a strike where the correctional officers said, because they what happened was they had taken away halt. Now halt is an acronym for something, and it basically says to the correctional officers, you cannot put somebody in solitary confinement for more than 6 days. That's it.
Right.
And the correctional officers said, that's a form of punishment that we're able to use against these inmates. Don't do that to us. You're cutting us at the knees. That's here in the same country as what's going on in Indiana. Okay? Because in Indiana, what they're saying is, fuck that. We're going to put him in maximum security prison and basically shut him into a hole. And he's going to eat his own feces. He's going to eat paper. He's going to puke on himself. He's going to smash his head into the wall. And we're going to make it even better. We're going to hold him down, strap him down, and we're going to give him medication when he tells us no.
Yep.
This is a fucking innocent man. He was an innocent man.
Yeah.
While they did this to him. And this is in the United States of America. We should be appalled at that alone. That's fucking criminal.
Yes, we should. Sorry, I was distracted in this chat.
So here's some things.
Yeah, if it's the cartel, you're right. The cartel's not going to let anybody go, and then you have to wonder about that situation. And
I
then I've
think
heard
it's
that Brian was maybe promised payment in the D-rugs for his participation in taking them out. So there is that theory going around.
and there's also now that's the different theory than the parents turning on, or is that the same theory? So the parents rolled. There were two parents involved with drugs trafficking, from my
Yeah.
understanding, and they rolled on
No,
somebody
this
to
is
get
a different
this is a
theory, I
different theory.
believe.
Okay,
I believe
okay.
y'all are talking about the Dylan's boyfriend. Am I right? Or are you talking about Xana's mom?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to this, Lilac. I don't know. I don't have a clue as to how they got away with that. But so help me God, that's what they did. You can look it up. It's almost like they're proud of it. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable
The
how they
mom.
got
Okay.
away with that.
Okay.
An
So
innocent man.
Julie's saying it's Xana's mom. That's the way they're connected there. Yeah. I would believe that theory a lot more quickly than I would Dylan's boyfriend.
Yeah, this wasn't a child. These
No.
weren't kids. For the same reason I don't think it's Brian. I don't think it was, you know, kids, but I do think it was somebody that knew these kids. Now, maybe an adult, maybe two adults that came over to maybe party, and then they went and took care of the situation, and that was that.
Yeah.
Like that, I could totally see happening. I don't know the reason for solitary confinement. He didn't do anything. He
No,
was
he didn't.
so there was no reason for it. They were to lose his mind, to take his fucking mind from him, to get him to confess. That's
Yeah.
all it looks like. Even Vinnie Politan, you guys, I hope this enrages you guys.
It
I really
should.
do. I really do. Because with AI now and everything, it should enrage you guys. I mean, I don't understand how a human's life gets violated like that when we have laws put in to protect for that reason. You guys, I know you guys are probably thinking, no, he had to have had something. No criminal record. I don't mean to yell. No criminal record on this man. It's not. Don't put yourself in a safe place. Oh, there has to be a reason. He was on a fucking bridge with a lot of other people that day. There was no school that day. So he was there. He's been there before. He fished there. That's where so many people went.
And it was a beautiful day.
And not just from that county, not just from that county. I mean, please don't put yourself in that safe place that we want to be, so that we feel like if we do something, if we don't do anything wrong, nothing bad will happen to us. It's not the way the world works, guys. We have to be honest with ourselves. That's not the way the world works. I worked in a jail. The scariest time was when we used to do questions, comments, and concerns on Thursdays. And it used to be somebody from each position in the jail. So it was somebody from medical, it was the head floor, because we had floors, and then it was the person in charge of that cell or cell block. And then there was the warden, and I was in charge of the commissary, and then I was in charge of the kitchen. So, first I started with the kitchen, and then I became the commissary manager. But that was like years, but still that thing was always Thursdays, questions, comments, and concerns. So there would be 6 or 7 of us that would go into the cells and questions, comments, and concerns. Yeah, the food sucks. Da, 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 da. Yeah, I've been trying to see medical and I can't. Da, 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 da. Yeah, I was penalized for this and I didn't do da, da, da. That's all. And we went throughout the whole thing. And the last time that I was doing that, I wanted to remember it, because I loved that job.
Right.
And I just wanted to remember it. And I remember being in the worst, the most dangerous, where the hardened criminals were.
Right.
Like people of violent acts being on, they were waiting to either be shipped to prison or they were yeah, I think they were waiting to be shipped to prison because these were convicted. So yeah. So anyway, and I looked at all of these men that were standing at their cot, you know, in their orange jumpsuit, just standing there, and I said to myself, any of these men that would have asked me, how do I get somewhere? Because it was before iPhones, before you were
Right.
able to, like, I would give them directions.
Hmm.
And that's when I realized none of them have a tattoo on their forehead. There is nothing that screams danger about
Nothing.
these men. And there I was in a room with 7 very fucking dangerous men. I mean, with other people, okay? But I
Right.
mean, the point is that's scary because somebody wrote in here, they walk among us. Yes, they
Yes.
do. Yes,
Yes, they
they
do.
do. But we count on the authorities and the investigators to do their jobs
Hmm.
correctly to get the right people. And
Hmm.
in this case, Richard Allen, I don't think is the right person. But
No.
more than that, the way it was handled is fucking wrong.
Yeah.
You that it's just wrong.
Yeah. That judge needs a good little come to Jesus meeting with somebody, I believe.
Yeah, that judge she was a nut. Oh my God. Like,
Hmm.
and I'm
Hmm.
hoping that they can get an appeal real quick.
Yep.
And yeah, because they did everything.
Hmm.
You know, they did everything. I don't who needed my help. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. You know, just
Yeah.
crazy. My honest the scariest are the ones that seem oh so helpful.
Hmm.
Yep,
Hmm.
that's true. That's very, very true. Very true. So, what other case did you want to talk about? I know it's been about an hour and 15 minutes or
Yeah.
so.
Well, I'm good. Whatever you want to chat about is pretty good. I mean, I think I've covered everything that I have except for that one bit of information that on the Delphi case. And when I find it, I will post it on my community page along with these others. I'll post the charts and everything for you guys to look at. But there was something I made a connection where the 2 runes matched up perfectly with an astrology sign, and I'm pretty sure that the person that you're looking for is a Leo. So I'll figure out how I got to that and post that for y'all too. But I think the main person in charge of planning the Delphi situation would have been a Leo
So,
astrological sign.
do you think it was somebody that planned it, or was it I mean, it had to have been planned at some point, but I mean, I don't know. Did you know that, and this is something you guys need to hear, honestly. So this came out that, the bridge video
Hmm.
where he's saying
Down the hill.
guys down the hill,
Huh?
guys down the hill. That is not from that video. That audio is not from that video. Now that
What?
has come out. Yes, that audio is not from that video. That has come out. Vinnie Politan broke that. It came out since they've been releasing evidence from the
Right.
trial. And because he made a big deal about it,
I usually
because
watch Vinnie Politan. I'm shocked I missed that one. I'll have to go back and find that.
yeah, it was the one I thought you sent me.
Oh no, I didn't see it unless I was in the middle of sending it to you while they were talking, and that's what I missed.
Yeah, so
Go back and
seriously,
watch
yep.
it again.
It came out that that video um had no audio to it,
Huh.
and but that, so they don't even know if um they don't know that the bridge guy, that guy actually said that. They don't know that.
I don't think he did. I don't know why. I mean, if he's the property owner, it would make sense why he was on the bridge. Walk around, check your stuff out. Maybe check a trail cam or something.
Well, I mean, the weird thing is, like, why were we made to believe that came from that guy. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Like if it like that just came out after.
Because they had to tie in this weird unspent round that they're claiming matched Richard Allen's weapon that wasn't even used in the crime. And the
Yeah.
down the hill would have to be, they had to be threatened with something to go down the hill. That's yeah. Mm-hmm. That's where my mind goes with that.
Well, they're saying that, I mean, somebody's saying that from there, but it wasn't from that video. Like,
Right.
we haven't been shown everything,
Oh,
obviously,
I'm
which
sure we
is,
haven't.
but no, of course. And I'm sure half of the shit, what a shit show. And I believe, no, maybe that's the Kohberger case where one of the cases.
I do the same thing. There's so many, I get them mixed up in my head.
Yeah.
Oh, 1980, good to see you, darling. I could have used you this afternoon. I was walking on some train tracks trying to get to where I needed to go. There was a whole family of rattlesnakes, wouldn't let me cross. I needed you there to snake whisper them away. But sadly, I had to turn back.
Yeah, so that's the thing. I don't know if it was from the phone or not, but
Well, where would
it
that have
was.
come from?
Wait a
Maybe a
minute,
trail
wait a minute,
cam?
wait. Hang on. Supposedly that came from on the bridge, obviously,
Right.
but it did not come from the audio of the video of the man walking on the bridge, where we are made to believe that is what he is saying to the girls as he's there, which you got to admit it was kind of far away.
Yeah.
How did we hear that? Somebody decided that they should put that together and show that to the public. How fucked up is that? Never saying these are from two different. So listen to me. So the people, from my understanding in the jury, because Vinnie Politan had a guy that was in the courtroom. He wasn't a juror, but a guy that was in the courtroom and said, no, when we saw the video, there was no sound at all. It was like a silent movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then we heard the audio later, and there was absolutely no connection between the two. So isn't that weird?
Now that I'm thinking about it, there was no crunching. Like when you walk through the woods, even if you just take one step, it's gonna crunch, 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 crunch. You didn't hear that in that video. It was, huh?
Well, you hear her. I don't know if
Mm.
the other. So I don't know. There's 43 seconds
Mm-hmm.
of that video, and we
Mm-hmm.
haven't seen all of that. Now, I
Right.
don't know if there's 43 seconds of. I just don't know if how she says, look, there's nothing here, it's the end of the path,
Yeah.
right? Okay,
Yeah.
so I don't know if that's even from the same video, if that's a second video that she's taken. Like I don't know that. Nobody knows that. Now that this has come into play where the audio doesn't fucking match the other,
Right.
you have to say, well, is that even part of the same video where she looks? Because I got the impression that they were two different videos, but I
Right.
thought that the audio was the audio with the first
Yeah.
video. I just thought there were two different videos. The one where she's videotaping him and he's saying,
Mm-hmm.
guys down the bridge. And this is another thing that's really just fucking weird if you guys look at it. So, like, okay, so they put out this video, and the first time they put out down the bridge.
Yeah.
And then they make a huge deal about adding the word guys. One word doesn't change
Yeah.
anything. It's like
It
it
does in the
doesn't
prosecution's eyes.
it doesn't really change anything. Like no, even no, I mean even I'm not talking about that. I'm saying forget about what I just told you about that. This is
Okay.
another issue, totally different. Okay. When they first put out the where they were looking for this guy, I don't remember. I don't think it had any of I no, it did because it wasn't like it was put in at a later time, I don't believe. I don't think that it was put in at a later time, the audio. I just think that it was put in to that they ran those at the same time and that was wrong. That's what happened. That's a fact. They ran those two videos at the audio and that was wrong. The audio and the video just don't match. They didn't
Right.
they didn't happen at the same time. Was it manufactured in some sort of lab? I don't know. You'd think they'd use Richard Allen's voice for that and
You
then
would
put it
think,
out there.
because it didn't
But
sound like him either.
it didn't sound like them. It
Not at
didn't. I
all.
got to be honest. There was one time when he said something. I was like, that sounds. And it was during the interrogation, and he wasn't in his high pitch or his high pitch. He said something. I thought, but they all have like that accent there too.
Yeah.
So it's our Hill is not the way I would say Hill,
Right.
But so anyway, so I forgot where I was going with it. Sorry. I don't remember where I was going with it.
It's just
yeah, about editing the video and yeah, so no, what I'm saying, yeah, so
yeah.
I agree that it's easy to edit a video and it's possible. Listen, it's possible because I think that this case was handled horribly. But the thing is that when they do it with his voice, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and when they make it look more like him, none of those sketches made it look
Not one
like him at all. Now, when I watched Crime Circus, they did this graph where they said that he was over 6 feet tall. I've never seen that, even in the first but even in the first wanted ad for him when it was the older fellow, not the younger fellow.
Right.
When it was the older, and that's so different too, totally two different generations there. Excuse me, but it did say 5'6" to 5'10" or something. They did
5'10",
have him on the shorter side, and that's short for a guy. Now they say Richard Allen, I believe he's like 5'4". Let's look and see. Well, that's what Crime Circus says. But have you ever really looked up the statistics?
No, I've not Googled this. I've not Googled his
Okay,
height.
so let's look him up. Let's look
All
up
right.
the statistics on Richard Allen. Statistics. Height. Okay, he said in a court that a fishing license for Allen purchased and had his height. Okay, so between 5'4" and 5'6". Hang on. He's 5'4", 180 pounds more. Well, he's a lot less now. Yeah. 5'4". Yeah, I keep seeing he's 5'4". Somebody says 5'4", 5'5".
Well,
Still
on the shoes.
Well, yeah, and that's, I mean, you would think that they would get, you'd think that they'd get a better match for that, to be honest with you. It should, I'd rather see it instead of a YouTuber. Like I would have liked to have seen the police do a graph. Like that should be something that should have been done because, he's a small guy.
But if the police are in on it, they're not going to do a graph.
That's the thing.
I didn't think that the police would be in on it, but now that y'all are telling me that there's so many Odinism going on, so much Odinism
It's supposed to be pretty, I want to say, It's supposed to be pretty popular in that area.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what it was, to be honest with you. I think I was pronouncing it wrong and shit, but
Well, that's all. You a good Christian lady, Toddy. It's all right.
I don't know if I'm a good Christian lady, but I try.
I got all this
So
heathenry going on over here, so
no, don't even. You're good. You're good. You're good. I'm glad you didn't completely miss the live either. Idgaff. Munchie Idgaff. Munchie Idgaff. Indiana, not Kentucky.
oh, Kung Fu
Uh,
Panda. I have not heard of that.
what's that? What'd we miss?
Case right now where 6 officers, some active, some retired, all off themselves in a short period of time from the same department.
I haven't heard that at all. I only
Oh,
heard one guy, right? One guy ended up, one officer, right?
I, I've not heard it. Now, I think this is something completely not related to the cases that we're talking about.
No, you and I talked about how one police
Yeah,
officer, and that was from this case, right?
yeah, but I don't
Right,
think that's
right.
what Kung Fu Panda's talking about.
Yeah, but one police officer, there was a suspicion about, I don't even really remember, but I know that there was certainly a suspicion about one of the cops' death, an
Yeah,
impeccable officer
yeah,
who I think believed Richard Allen was
yeah,
innocent, and he's no longer with us.
yeah. And
And
I think
yeah,
he was taken out to keep quiet
yeah, to keep
from
stum.
speaking out.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's why I don't believe that Karen Reed was framed, because it would be, look at what happened with one guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, imagine, there with those 12 people in the house,
Got you,
like,
Julie.
I just don't believe that she was that I think she accidentally hit him. That's my feeling. But I didn't know about the other car.
Yeah, I maintain that was Ron. That I can't remember his last name. Somebody else will know it.
Is he a cop?
Oh, I don't know that he's a cop, but I think his wife's no, his sister's husband is. I think.
Okay.
Oh, yep. Apparently he is. Sunshine saying, "Yep, he is."
Okay. Okay. Anyway, I don't have all that much to say here.
No, I don't really either, unless anybody's got any questions. But we're hitting an hour and a half here, so
Yeah. Yeah, to be honest with you, I could close my eyes for another hour.
after sleeping all day, good grief, Toddy.
Well, I didn't sleep all day. I did wake up earlier. I woke up. I only got like 5 hours, to be honest with you.
Oh,
And I got none the night before, none the day before, actually. Like, it was, did I? I don't even remember. I
you
don't
know
know.
what that calls for? A sun drop, a good old kick of
I don't
caffeine.
have any more. I don't have any
Oh,
more. So
well,
yeah,
your birthday's coming up quick. We're getting there.
yeah, I'll take them. But here's the thing: the post office. Don't send anything to the post office right now, anybody, because that post office is closing down. The last day is May 10th. I took my PO box
Oh,
off of my thing.
okay. All right.
Don't send anything. Like, don't send anything, because I'm not renewing my thing. I'm going there Friday, because I know somebody sent me something, and I'm going there Friday to pick that up. And I
Okay.
think that that's it. I think
Well,
that
you gonna
that's
get
it.
us some sort of address for your birthday goodies
I
somehow?
we'll see. We'll see. I don't, seriously, I don't, um, I will be getting a post office box, but I don't know that I'll get to that place before my birthday.
mm,
So I don't know.
well, then you're gonna have a whole lot of late presents to open up. I feel
Uh,
like.
Listen, man, to be honest with you, I'm not going to have a lot of room for stuff. I actually wasn't going to get a storage unit, but as I'm looking around, I'm saying, yeah, I want to make the RV, the camper, my home. I do, because
Mhm.
I'm going to live there for at least 3 years, if all goes the way that I pray it goes. So I don't want to just get rid of stuff that I've had for years that maybe I can incorporate,
Yeah.
What am I missing here?
Oh, Sunshine's saying that was some good smoke.
So
That's what
anyway.
I'll be doing, allegedly and for all legal purposes.
All right, well, I'm ready to
All right.
say I'm gonna go lay down for about an hour.
All right, you sleep good, Toddy. I'm gonna go get on some supper.
Okay,
I'm a little
well,
hungry.
make something good. It was fun. It's always fun. I
Yeah, I had a
appreciate it.
blast.
And we'll catch up soon, guys. Milk, Honey, and Mayhem. You guys know it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Check it out. Please subscribe.
Yes.
All right, guys. All right, Jamie. See you later. See you later,
See
man.
y'all.
Okay, bye.
See ya.
Bye-bye.